Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. Tonight we're going to be looking at 3 dive watches. Well, 2 dive watches and a military style GMT. The watches we'll be looking at tonight are the Bossell, the Serica 5303, and the tiny little Armida. So let us begin. Alright, so first up we have the Bossell watch, and this is the largest of the 3. Using my calipers, I measure it at almost 42 millimeters, and it has 22 millimeter lugs. As you can see, it's completely bead blasted, so this is definitely the tooliest of the 3 watches. And it has a GMT bezel, not a dive bezel. It's heavy and really solid feeling. I would definitely feel confident using this as a rugged, tough tool watch. It feels like it's absolutely invincible. These retail for about $1,200, and it has 200 meters of water resistance, even though it's not called out anywhere that I can see. There's a sticker on the back, so it's a bit tough to read. But yeah, I don't see it called out there. We have the Liqui racetrack there. That's pretty cool. So I had to look it up on their site, and yeah, 200 meters of water resistance on this. And of these 3 watches, this is one of 2 that actually has white painted hands in there. And all 3 of them have dot indices for the hours. So yeah, this watch is pretty cool if you're looking for a tooly watch and you like contemporary size pieces or you have a larger wrist. This would be a pretty good option for you. Next up we have the Serica 5303. And this is probably, I guess, the dressiest of the 3. It's definitely the prettiest. We have some polished surfaces as well as brushed. That dual duty bezel is just beautiful. And that crystal is amazing. I still love the super unique dial on this. And the pointer hours hand has kind of grown on me. I appreciate that it has nice stark angles on it. I really don't like the rounded arrow hands. They just, yeah, no. I feel like this watch's looks are kind of on par with what Christopher Ward puts out. Just brilliant. And this watch has 300 meters of water resistance. This is one of the first generation ones, so it has the Newton movement in it. And I've had a permanent fix done to the crown, so it's still behaving properly. Everything is all good. The newer ones have an M100 COSC certified movement in them. I don't know anything about that movement. I'm gonna have to look that up. And I don't recall exactly what I paid for this. It was around $1,000. The current generation of these, I believe, is closer to $1,500. But yeah, this is an absolutely gorgeous watch. And its case size is 39 millimeters, so a pretty nice standard dive watch size in my opinion. I feel like for normal people that aren't me, 38 to 40, maybe 42 is a pretty good size range for dive watches. So this is on the slightly subdued end of that range. Absolutely beautiful. And the final watch that I have is my little Armida. And this is a tiny little guy at 36 millimeters. Which is probably why it's my favorite of the 3. That, and I like the somewhat more minimalistic mill sub style. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Serica looks amazing, but sometimes you just want to wear a nice minimal dive watch. And this piece does not have white painted hands, but there's so much lume on them that they kind of look like they are. But on the edges there you can see chrome. Yeah. So this watch also has 300 meters of water resistance, and sadly this particular model is sold out, and I'm not sure when or if Armida will be putting out more of them. You can get the date variant of this though, those are still in stock. And this particular model also has a bunch of different dial colors to choose from. And some of those are sold out, but others are still available. This watch has an ETA 2836-2 in it, and it is by far the cheapest of the three watches, coming in at $399. And honestly, you can't even tell. Seeing all three of these watches side by side, if you didn't know anything about the price range on them, you would think that this cost as much as the other two. This is just an amazing watch. I love it. I think this is definitely my keeper dive watch. For the longest time, I keep seeing brilliant dive watches, and I've owned a few, and they just end up getting sold because I never wear them. The Baltic was absolutely brilliant, but I just didn't wear it. And when I saw the Serica, I ended up selling that to help pay for the Serica. And the Serica is absolutely brilliant, but I rarely wear that one either. However, this one, yeah, it gets some wrist time. So let's do some size comparison, because this'll be fun. Here we have the smallest and the largest, side by side. And just look at the differences in the straps. Crazy. The dials look like they actually aren't that terribly different. The Bossel's is larger, but it doesn't look like it's larger by a ton. Interesting. Here we have the two average size dive watches side by side, and the two that have hinges on their mesh bracelets. I absolutely love that aesthetic. That is so cool. Brilliant. And look at the difference in the thickness on these two. I mean, the Bossell is kind of approaching shark mesh territory. And it's great that with both these mesh straps, you can really dial in the size and just get them to fit perfectly. The Serica actually looks kind of small next to the Bossell. That right there is 3 millimeters difference. So crazy. In the watch world, a millimeter is a world of difference when it comes to case size and whatnot. And finally, we have 39 versus 36 millimeters. And the Armida doesn't look super tiny when it's next to the Serica. I mean, it's clearly smaller, but it looks like a reasonable size to me. And the Armida does have quite some wrist presence. But I'm biased since I'm used to wearing smaller watches. So it probably would not wear like a 40 millimeter watch for other people, but to me, that's kind of the equivalent. But yeah, both of these watches are also just amazing looking. There you have it, 3 different dive watches, 3 different case sizes, 3 totally different aesthetics to each of them, and they're all pretty brilliant. But I feel like my favorite is the Armida. That is definitely my dive watch. Thanks for watching.